Okay, so I'm coming back to my meeting, and I will again now put on my screen. And my browser. Hmm. Okay. So again, okay, so I'm coming back to my
Oh, this is
meeting,
the
and
screening
I
has
will again
started
now
there.
put
Okay.
on my screen. So this is now already on YouTube and my browser. Hmm. Okay, which I paused here. I no, I need to actually close this only. Okay. Uh, so let me get back to where I was on my Zoom account. So this time I'm not going to Zoom US. I'll do it directly from here. Okay. So we've just finished with this. Now I want to tell you something about the settings, which is most important. Many of my students come and say, "Oh, I can't log in there, or I can't see this. Oh, you are getting this on your toolbar. I am not getting it. So you have to go to your settings. When you first get your account, this is the first thing you should do after that to see what all do you need. Okay. So starting from here on the top, waiting rooms. Do you want them or you don't want them? If you do this here, disable it, now you will never be able to in your meetings have that option of whether you want a waiting room enabled or not enabled. You can do it, you enable them here. That's my suggestion. And there you can always stop when you don't want. So like I disable the waiting room once people came, so that I don't have to worry about anyone now waiting in the waiting room. Okay. What we do normally is, you have a waiting room. We get, like if you are a co-host, you have a producer, somebody is helping you with your webinar. All those people come in earlier, test your mics. You don't want the audience to be there. That is where you keep the waiting room on. So if the meeting is at 4 o'clock, at what quarter to four, Shubha will come online, Jogesh will come online. We will test our systems. We will go through the SOP. We have a little checklist of whether the laptop is being charged, whether the phone is being charged, all that. We have a little checklist. A recording is going on or not, and all those things. So if you have, you that time keep the waiting room on. Then when you allow the participants to come in is the time when you're absolutely ready to start. You go further to various other options that require a passcode. So I've not enabled it. If you do this, then there'll be no option. It'll always ask you for a passcode. So go like that and keep seeing wherever you want to enable, disable. This is a very long list, and I will not like to go through everything, but you have to go through, and it's self-explanatory. It also asks you learn more and all. So if you don't know what it really means, it'll give you the explanation. Now, these are again host video, participant video, computer audio. I told you, instead of doing all those, you have done it here, then you don't have to keep worrying about in all your meetings. This should show as a default setting. Okay. So these are all default settings. You can change them there also, but this is where it'll be there as default all the time. Okay. Now you come to in meeting basic things that do you want to keep the chat on? Do you want private chat allowed or not? This is very important feature. Sometimes, like today, for example, now if you go to the chat box, you will see it gives you an option of uh, chatting with everyone. So you will get the drop down menu, and if you want to chat privately with another participant, you can do that. But if I had disabled it here, then you would not. auto saving of chat. Do you want a chat to be auto saved or not? So you can click this if you want to, right? And file transfers. Do you allow people to transfer files to each other, or if you want to ask anyone for an attachment, if you keep it on, it is there. If you don't keep it on, and on your chat box, if you go right now on your chat box, where you type at the bottom, where you type the message, there you will find three dots, and the host in his three dots will be able to say change the setting for chat even there. So here you can keep the one which you generally want on for your type of webinars. Okay. So similarly, you want a co-host, you want to allow to add co-host or not. So यहाँ से करोगे तो you'll always have co-host facility available. Polling, always show meeting control toolbar. All this is to be done here. Now, who can share? Only host or all participants? I keep it on only host because I don't want all participants to share the screen. When I want, I can tell them to do it. So these are basically wherever you want default settings. Okay. Annotation. Allow host and participants to use annotation tools to add information. If you don't want others to do it, you can disable it. Right. Similarly for whiteboard, then various other controls, meeting reactions and all. You can go through all this, and then report participants to breakout room. Now this is very important. A lot of people have told me, sir, हमें breakout room का icon नहीं दिखता है in the toolbar. You will get it only if you have enabled toolbar breakout rooms here. So a lot of things, if not enabled here, don't appear in your toolbar at all. Allow use of videos for virtual backgrounds. Okay. So now if you don't use this, you will not be able to get. So all of you you must be knowing, most people are already using virtual screens. But in your toolbar, the leftmost icon where you see a mic icon and there's an arrow there. If you, sorry, on the video one, sorry, not on the mic, on the video one, you will get the option of virtual screen. If you have not enabled it here, you won't get that option there. Okay, these we have covered, filters and all. Okay. Allow live streaming. I've done it for Facebook and YouTube. If I don't do it here, I'll not be able to do it further. Okay. So is there any doubt on this part?
Yeah.
Another important thing here is that there are some tools here, which is your user admin and all. Just go through them in your own time. You can manage your account, your billing, everything is done here. And this is where you get your recordings.
I have a question, Brigadier.
Just 1 second. Let me just finish this part, then I'll take the question.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So here are all my recordings. So whenever I want a recording, for example, now this is yesterday's TTOT. So if I do this, I can share the recording. I can, and I have the facility to see whether I want an expiry date. I want you to see the recording only for 1 day. So I can put an expiry date there. After 1 day, that link will not be working for you. Whether I want the viewer to download, I want you to see it, but I don't want you to download my recording. I can disable it here. Whether you wanted password protection or you don't want it, password protection also can be done here. After doing all that, I say copy sharing information to the clipboard, and that is the link I send you through mail or email ID or whatever. Right? If you want to see the recording there and then you want to get a feel of what happened, then you can go here, not in the share, but here. And you have a recording, and now you can play it here and you can see the recording here itself. A piece of advice that there are lots of, if you have enabled recordings automatically, You'll get lots and lots of recordings here. Now, this is 1 week, which I have to, you go and delete them because they're occupying your cloud space. And it's very heavy, 223 MB, 266 MB, 970 MB. So there's no point keeping the recordings that you don't need or of no consequence. So you can delete them. Otherwise, when it gets full, you will be given a message that your Zoom cloud recording is occupied or full, and then gives you an option to buy extra space. Right. Now I'm coming to a very, very important one, and which is you can do live trainings here. You can go to video tutorials and you can build up your knowledge base. These are all areas where you want to learn something about Zoom. People have generally not done this and they get quite lost. And I'll tell you, these are areas which you must see. So before I go to this, there was a question. Let me answer that. Yeah, somebody asked a question earlier.
Yes, that is me, Samprada.
Yeah. Sorry, you are Samprada. Yeah, Samprada.
Yeah.
Come.
See, I understood that we were able to connect it to YouTube via live streaming. But let's say that we wish to go live on multiple platforms. Is that also possible?
No, only one at a time. So, like I told you, Facebook and YouTube, I can do one at a time, not both.
But I can still do it for the same meeting.
Sorry?
I can still do it for the same meeting.
I don't understand that. That means you mean to say that you can stop one and start another one?
Yeah, I mean, can I? Yeah.
Yeah, so you can stop YouTube and then start Facebook. That you can do.
Okay.
But only one streaming.
Only one streaming is
one
allowed.
streaming at a time.
Okay. So is it that is it because of the plan or something, or it's
No, that's the
just
inbuilt feature. It only allows you one.
Okay.
Sir, can you show again this streaming to
So
YouTube?
which one?
So streaming from this to YouTube.
So you see, let me go back to, I'll have to go back now to my meeting. Anil, can we do that later?
No problem.
Because it is unnecessary to go back there now,
No issue. No
but I'll show you later. Okay. Let me take you now to the most important place. Many of us start and we don't go through these basics, and all your questions get answered here. So now just listen to this and see what I'm going to show you. Zoom video tutorials. Join a meeting. All what I'm telling you is beautifully given here. How to join a meeting, how to schedule a meeting, how to control a meeting, how to schedule a meeting with Google Calendar, scheduling a meeting with Outlook, assigning scheduling privilege in Outlook, scheduling a Zoom webinar, breakout rooms. I'm going to show you the breakout rooms because that is what people keep asking me. And this is one of the most interesting and the most effective features of Zoom. So once you have enabled breakout rooms, which I showed you in the settings, you will get this option on your toolbar only when you are a host. Okay. Now this is a video. I want you to listen to this.
Hey everyone, Farah from Zoom here. On this brief video, we're going to show you how you can leverage our breakout room feature to take a large meeting or virtual classroom and split it up into smaller groups or sessions. You'll see that I have already enabled the breakout room feature, which you can find in your settings along the bottom. And that breakout room button will actually be right here. This is a button that only your host.
So I was just telling you that this button which she just showed is the one. You can all see this button here, breakout rooms, the 4 squares. This you will only get when you have enabled the breakout rooms in your settings.
Or co-hosts will be able to see. And right now we don't have a co-host in the session. If I manage my participants, I can hover over Catherine, for example, to make her a co-host. So she'll see this button now as well. When we're ready to split the group into smaller sessions,
how to make a co-host. So there are 2 places. One is in the participants window, and other is in your, where you get all the videos. On the right, there are three, on the top right, there are three dots. It's called the ellipse. So you click on that and you get a drop down menu, and there he'll say make host, make co-host, allow recording, couple of those options. And there you say allow or make a person a co-host.
I can easily click this button to get a pop-up window asking me how many rooms I'd
Sorry,
like
just
to
a
assign
minute.
out
Let me go
and how many
back a little
participants
here.
per room. For this example, smaller sessions, I can easily click this button to get a pop-up window asking me how many rooms I'd like to assign out and how many participants per room. For this example, it's recommending, since there are 6 people, we can split it up into 2 rooms. I can do this automatically or manually. So if we click on the automatic button, it'll generate those breakout rooms for us. Certainly, if there's anyone I want to swap out, maybe I want to move Michael to the other room, I can exchange him for a different participant. Once I'm ready to open all rooms, I'll click this open all rooms button, and our participants will be able to join the sessions that we've created for them. So we'll slowly see those people join. One thing that's really important to note is that as a host or a co-host, you can actually hop between the different rooms to talk to the participants. You can see here, I have the join button. Now everybody's left to go to the rooms. I can broadcast a message to everybody and say, wrapping up in 1 minute. And this will broadcast the message. And then I can close the rooms, which gives them a 1-minute timer to rejoin our session. We'll give everybody a second to rejoin, and I'll show you 1 or 2 additional features with breakout rooms. There we go. We can kind of see everybody kind of popping back in. Now everybody's rejoined the main session. You'll see that I have the opportunity to reopen these rooms again, which is really great. If you have a very long session or a very long virtual class, you can split into these virtual smaller groups as often as you'd like. And the additional options here will allow you to automatically close breakout rooms after a specified amount of time. You can also change the countdown timer to be 30 seconds or 2 minutes if you like. I'll show you a setting where you can also pre-assign folks to be in your breakout room before the classroom starts. You'll want to navigate over to the class that's already been created in your Zoom portal. Under the meetings tab, you can find your meeting. Scrolling all the way to the bottom, you'll see if we open this to re-edit it, I have the opportunity to pre-assign a breakout room here, and I can create the rooms and upload a CSV with all of my participants in advance so that their names are already populated in the room when I start the session. That's basically how you can run breakout rooms. We hope you found this video helpful. If you have any additional questions, please visit us at support.zoom.us. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.
Okay. So we stop this video. Right. How was that? Is that clear? Any questions on how to do breakout rooms? Okay. When it comes to generating automatically or pre-assigned rooms, there is one hack that I'll give you. That is, if I'm now doing, let's say there are 20 people in my class and I want to take them to 4 breakout rooms. And I want all 4 teams to go into the 4 rooms. I can pre-assign. Now, pre-assigning means that you must have an Excel sheet, which should be a CSV sheet. And then you upload that. It's a little tedious, and I have found it not very, very easy. It takes a lot of time. What I do is I tell all my participants to rename themselves with the prefix of the team number. So all people who are in team number 1 will write 1 dot space and then your name. So let's say if Anil Goswami, they say 1 dot Anil Goswami. The second person in the team will say 1 dot and his name and all that. So 2 and 3. When I get people into the breakout rooms, I have a reason, I have a place to assign them different rooms. I can move them, I can exchange them like she showed you. So I can quickly, within about half a minute, be able to readjust that my 4 rooms have the same team members in that particular group. That is easier than to use a CSV sheet and pre-assign rooms, although both the options exist. Right? So this was one tutorial here. I've got another tutorial which I want to show you, and that is going to be some magic. How many of you want to see some magic on Zoom?
Pom 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 pom.
Pom pom
I have
pom
a
poms only.
question.
Okay, so
I have a
you
question.
people know
Pom
the
pom
value
pom
of
pom.
pom pom. We have got
Pom
some
pom.
guests who must be wondering ये क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे.
Pom
I
pom.
have a question, Sushil ji.
Just one second. Yeah, Rachna.
Yep.
Nice to see you, Rachna. Welcome.
Likewise. Thank you.
Yeah.
What I wanted to know, it says broadcast in breakout rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is it only that you can type? We don't have like a voice broadcast, because I had seen it somewhere, but it didn't work for me.
No, I have not known of any voice broadcast. It is only on videos. But yes, if you close all videos, okay, for example, you disable videos and enable breakout rooms, I guess I have not tried it, but that would
That's
mean
not
that you
fair.
can only have sound coming.
So if we have I'm breaking out people into rooms, different rooms. Yeah.
Sorry?
So if I'm breaking out people into different rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm using breakout
Ah.
rooms. In that, when they have to come back, or I want to tell all the groups one particular thing, is it only that I can type? There is no kind of a voice.
No, there's no voice there. No. That's only type. That's the only feature, and it has a limitation. So in my workshops, all those who attend my workshops know it. It is a part of my. So I have a slide which gives all the rules of the breakout rooms before they go into the breakout rooms. Because if you don't explain to them, there's a lot of confusion later.
Yes.
And one of the confusions is because I use facilitation. So when people come back, I want to ask you, okay, so all those in room number 1, if I've done it randomly, particularly, and you'll say, sir, I don't know which room I was in. So now I tell people that there are 2 things that happen. When you are in a breakout room, right on the top, your room number is there, which is so small, you may not notice it. Now, if you've preloaded, we call it in our parlance, front loading. When you give information, that means you tell people beforehand, they are prepared for it. So you tell them that there will be a breakout room number on top. Please note that. And also I have in our setup, we have 3 people assigned for every breakout room discussion. We have a leader, a timekeeper, and a recorder.
Oh.
Okay. So the leader's job is to control the room. The timekeeper's job is to make sure that he or she allows everyone to take turns and not that one person speaks. So if I've got 10 minutes in the breakout room and there are 5 people, so that person will make sure that everyone talks for not more than 2 minutes. And the recorder will be that, like we say, okay, write down the important points of the discussion. So that person normally in his chat in the chat box will type out those and then copy paste them, because that chat box is not visible in the main room.
Yeah.
And then the moment he come to the main room, he copy paste that on that chat room. So it becomes easier for us to operate it. If you have not done this before, you'll find when people go to breakout rooms, you as a host, as a trainer, will lose your control on them.
Yeah, because then I log in through 2 devices, because it becomes difficult if there are 6 breakout rooms to be going from one particular laptop. So I log in from 2 devices and I try and go into 2 rooms simultaneously, because I
That
have.
you can do. Yeah, that you can do. That's a good idea, that you log in from your mobile or another laptop. So now I am doing a program called Hive, which is high impact virtual engagement. I use 2 laptops and a mobile and use it for different things to make the engagement so much that it is actually becoming as good as a real classroom.
Great. Thank you so
Right.
much. Thank
Okay, thank you. Any other question? Somebody else had a question?
I just wanted to
Yeah,
ask,
Kalpana, go ahead.
when we are having 4 breakout rooms, and does that also get recorded, sir? All the 4 simultaneously?
No. The recording, no breakout rooms get recorded. You'll get a blank there.
Okay.
So please be aware. And I'll tell you, from a learner's point of view, all of you trainers should understand this is the best part of Zoom, that let's say this breakout room is as good as a breakout that you do in a classroom session. When you say, okay, like if you are doing in a banquet or in a hall, you get 5 teams to sit on 5 different tables and say, discuss this. You all are familiar with that situation. What happens on another table? So if I'm sitting on one table, I don't know what the discussion is going on the other table, but I can see that there is a lot of noise there. Means I could see somebody fighting. I can see some body language where people are unhappy, and you say, yeah, there's something happening there. So in that room, there is not a very safe learning environment.
Yeah.
But in Zoom breakout rooms, there's a safe learning environment. What's happening in that room is not known to anyone else in the other room at all. So we call it the safe learning environment. Now, unless you do a recording of it. So I'll tell you, when I go to a breakout room and I want some things to be recorded because we want to show it to them later, then I use my mobile phone. I put myself on a video off so that they don't get conscious that I'm recording. And I video shoot the screen of my laptop. But okay, another way that you can maintain recordings is similarly, when I have a co-host, all people who do webinars must have a co-host. If you don't have anyone in your, like for me, Shubha does it, or when I'm doing it with Jogesh is a co-host, so he does it for me. But otherwise, you must have somebody for this role. For example, now if there was nobody, so I would request anyone here, Deepak, can I make you the co-host? He'll say yes. So I'll go and make Deepak a co-host. 2 things. One is Deepak will help me when I require. And secondly, if my network goes off and the meeting goes off, the meeting is automatically taken over by Deepak. So I know, and I'll keep a co-host who's alert enough to take over the situation, because I know Deepak will keep people involved and he'll keep them in humor, and so that by the time I come back, the meeting is still there. But if you have not had a co-host, if you start doing a webinar without a co-host, you are going to probably miss that meeting. That meeting will get cancelled. And then for people to come back is very difficult. So these are some of the tips. Okay, coming back to from where we left. Now I want to show you another video, and I was telling you I'll show you a magic. Now magic is what? How many of you are aware of the latest Zoom update called 5.02.00? Or in short, let's say 5.2. Now this is a new feature which has just come about a week back. Okay, week or 10 days back, and it's very powerful. Okay, and earlier we were thinking of that there are other platforms. There is something called iowa.com. There's something called remo.com. All people are trying to catch up because nobody is going to allow Zoom to be supreme all the time. So competition will catch up. But a good company will always maintain a lead. If you are like what Nokia did in the telecom market, they became complacent and didn't worry. And then Apple and Samsung came and overtook them. Zoom has already started creating such a lead that while other people are going to follow them, they are still going to be, because they've already updated so many new things. And I'm going to show you the latest updates now. So give me a minute to take you back to my screen. Yeah. So I'm now taking you back here, and I'm going to show you another video. And that's another way. Are you learning something from here? That sometimes I don't know how to show you something which, for example, breakout rooms, we were unable to do it because when I want to explain that window of breakout rooms automatically and all that, I can't do it because when I'm on Zoom, I can't show myself. And therefore, I have used my co-host Jogesh, and he asked everyone to come on to Facebook Live, on a Facebook group, sorry. And then he showed the video of my screen to them on another platform. That is how Zoom is very good, that it allows you to use mentimeter.com, mural.com, any other tools you can use in configuration with Zoom. Right. So here is another way that when you want to show something, either prepare a video of your own, or if you have a ready-made video, and what better than having an authentic video of the company itself. Okay, so here is a video which I'm going to show you of the 5.2 new version of Zoom that has come up.
You work, it's hard to feel confident in your video and your audio.
Are you able to
and
hear?
Feel connected with your colleagues. I'm here to
Yes,
show
yes,
you
yes.
a few features that Zoom has to make both a little easier. We have lighting controls, touch up my appearance, background noise suppression, sharing slides as a virtual background, filters, and reactions. Here under your stop video button, you can hit the up arrow and see video settings. This actually will take you to all of these settings that I'm showing you today. Under video,
I want all ladies particularly to listen to something she's going to tell you, because all of you like to look more beautiful on the camera. And if you have not had time to do makeup, this may help you. So listen to what she's going to say. I didn't know till this application came that you can touch up your appearance. That means you will look a little better. It won't make you absolutely beauty queen, but it'll make your video a little sharper, better.
you can see touch up my appearance. When you click that box on, you'll see a slider that can help touch up your appearance and give you smoothness to your video. Adjusting for low light is set to auto, but you can manually control that to give yourself a lot more lighting in some situations, and however that makes you feel most confident. Under the audio, suppressing background noise is set to auto, but now you can control that as well. The low setting allows some background noise, music to set the mood for your happy hours or your game nights. High gives you a lot of background noise suppression to help your audio be as clear as possible. Let's take for example, you've got your neighbor and they're mowing the lawn at a really bad time. Low gives not much suppression to that. You can hear it pretty clearly. High, however, takes that background noise down pretty significantly, so you can feel more confident whenever you're presenting. Under background filters, you can now see some video filters here. You can add black and white, some frames, and some really fun stickers to add some fun into your day. You can also share slides as a virtual background to make your presenting a little more interesting. To do that, hit the Share Screen button, and you'll see Basic, Advanced, and Files across the top. Go to Advanced, and Slides as a virtual background is currently in beta phase. Hit Share, and search for the file that you want to show. Opening this makes it so that each one of your slides is one slide in your background. And now you can see your video appear on top of the shared content on your screen. Go ahead and click on your video and this blue box will appear. That means you can resize your video and move it to wherever you'd like. This allows you to be engaging with your content so you can point to different areas, and so that the people attending don't have to look at two different places to look at your video and the content. And if you like that content, you can go ahead and share your reactions with hearts, laughing, surprised, or celebrate. And those are a few of the features that we've released here at Zoom to make meeting from home more confident and more fun.
Okay, so there's another video that's coming up, 7 Zoom screen share tips.
Hi.
Oh no, sorry.
Have
this
you
is not
always
the one.
wanted to
I showed you
learn
another one. This is
to start? Would you like to make amazing?
okay. I want to show you this video, which is very good. And listen to it. He is going to tell you 7 screen sharing tips, and they are very, very good.
Sharing your screen in Zoom is a must-know skill, but do you know these 7 tips? In today's video, I want to show you not only everything that you need to know about screen sharing, but things that are going to make it so much easier for you, including how to prevent participants from doing certain things. Hello everyone, Scott Friesen here at Simpletivity, helping you to get more done and enjoy less stress. And let's start off with a shortcut key to make your life so much simpler. So, for example, you are probably very familiar with how to share a screen. All you have to do is come down here and select this button, Share Screen. And that's pretty easy to bring you up to this dialog prompt. But isn't it a bit easier if we just put Alt-S on our keyboard? Alt-S will also bring up that dialog box. Whether you have this window maximized or maybe you have this minimized, maybe you're somewhere else, I can just put Alt-S, or if you're a Mac user, you can select Command-Shift-S, and that will immediately bring up your share dialog. But there's something else that I like to point out with this, is that often I will give this tip to some of my participants if I want them to share their screen. You don't know how many times I've been trying to tell them or try to help them navigate where to find this share screen button. It's so much easier if I just let them know, hey, just hit Alt-S on your keyboard and we can get right to sharing your screen. Now let's move on to tip number 2, and this actually has to do with the opposite. That is actually preventing someone from sharing their screen, because you want to be in control, right? You want to say who and when can share their screen instead of them taking over your meeting. So what Zoom has done is they've conveniently added a security button here in our toolbar. And if we select on security, you can see that there's a few options here, including the ability to allow or not allow participants to share their screen. So here you can see I have it unchecked, meaning anyone who is in this meeting with me, they cannot share their screen unless I come in here and select this. If I check this, now my participants are allowed to share their screen with me and share their screen with others. However, this is probably on by default. So what I like to do is go into my Zoom settings and change it so this is unchecked by default, so I can always make sure that I remember, I don't have to remember, I should say, to come in here and uncheck that. So let me show you how to do that. Here I am within my Zoom settings within the zoom.us website. And after you've logged into your account, you want to select Settings, and we are wanting to scroll down a little bit to the second header, which is called In Meeting Basic. Now we want to scroll down just a little bit further here until we get to our screen sharing settings. Most likely this is already set, right? Because that's a standard feature within Zoom to be able to share your screen. But it's this second option, who can share. By default, it probably is set to all participants. Now you may be hesitant to say host only yourself, or if you make someone else a co-host. But remember, this doesn't actually prevent other users from sharing. What it means is that that checkbox that I just showed you is always going to be unchecked. So whenever you start a meeting, when you have host only set on your user account, on your settings, this is always going to start a meeting with this unchecked. And then when you want to allow someone else to share their screen, you can come in here, select security, and turn that on. So a helpful tip, especially if you don't want other people hijacking your meeting. Even though they were supposed to be in your meeting, you don't want to allow them that control to start sharing whenever they want to. Now let's go to another screen sharing tip, and this one has to do with sharing video, because we often want to share a YouTube video or maybe some other type of video that you already have on your machine. And many people have been complaining that, oh, it's really either fuzzy or it's choppy or they can't quite hear the audio. Well, before you share your video, whether it's online or on your system, be sure to come down here and check this checkbox. Optimize screen sharing for video clip. You want to check this box, which is also going to automatically check this one, share computer sound, because we obviously want to share the audio when we're sharing that video. But this is going to increase your chances for the best viewing experience for your participants. Now, it's not going to guarantee that it's a flawless experience, because remember, your bandwidth, but also your participants' individual bandwidth is going to contribute to how they view this or what type of quality they experience. But to have the highest quality, to optimize your video clips, make sure you check this box before you go and select YouTube or before you go select something on your screen. All right, we're going to stick here within the sharing dialog for tip number 4, and this one has to do with sharing just a portion of our screen. So let me cancel out of this for just a second, and let's say that I've opened up a PDF document. However, I don't want to share the whole toolbar. Maybe I have some notes or other things here on the right-hand side. I just want to share the text, but I don't want to hide all this other stuff because I might be doing other things. I just don't want them to see that. So when I go to share, when I go back here, let's open up our share screen here. I'm going to click on Advanced. Basic is the one that we always see by default, but let's click on Advanced, and here we have the option to share a portion of our screen. So by selecting this, we go back to our PDF example here, and here you see I have a green, sort of a rectangular area here, and the green means that this is what I'm sharing in the moment. Now that green color is key, and we're going to see that on a future tip as well. What I can do is I can click on this larger part here at the top, and I can drag it around. Now while I'm dragging, it turns yellow. That means that my screen sharing is paused. They're just seeing this while I drag things around, and when I release it, we're back to green. Now I am only sharing this area here. So I can go over here and make changes or reference things or go up to the file menu, and they're not going to see any of that. Now you can always resize this window. If I want to drag this over and make sure that I'm capturing everything here, you can resize it at any time. Just remember, while you're resizing, it's going to be paused as well. Green means go. Green means that you are sharing at that point in time. So if you only want to share half or a portion of your screen, that's going to be something that's very helpful to you. Now, let's move on to tip number 5, which is going to greatly enhance your meetings, especially if you want to get your participants involved. And tip number 5 has to do.
Grammarly does more than catch errors. With Grammarly, you can find really good, no, perfect words that make your writing sharp, or explicit, or excellent, or
has to do with polling your audience. So down below here in my Zoom menu, you see I have a polls button. Now you may not see this immediately because this is often not turned on by default. Let's go see where we can turn that on. We want to jump back into our Zoom settings, and we are back. This is settings. We are still under the meeting tab, and yes, we're actually still going to go to the in meeting basic header. And if we scroll down just a little bit further, you're going to come across this option called polling. Now, as I said, there's a good chance that this is turned off by default. You just need to hit this switch and you will have polling options available to you. So how do you create your first poll? Well, you're going to want to stay here within your Zoom account, and this time we're going to click on Meetings. The Meetings tab, of course, is where you're going to see all of your upcoming meetings. And I've created one here called Test Meeting. All you need to do is go into your meeting in advance, of course, and scroll down to the bottom. Now, at the very bottom here, you're going to have an option here to add polls. Now, I've already added one here. Let me just delete this one so you can see what it's going to look like before you create your first poll. So again, I'm just inside this particular meeting. I've scrolled down to the bottom, and it's got this little area that says you have not created any poll yet. So all I need to do is hit this add button, and we're going to get this menu here where we can set up multiple simple polls. So I'm going to create a quick one here for you here. I'm going to call this one phone type. The first field is just the title of the poll. It's not actually the question. You can choose if you want to make it anonymous or not. In many cases, I like this option because I want people to be as honest with me and everyone else on the call as possible, so you don't need to track or share who said what. And I'm just going to say, what type of phone do you have? Just a very simple question here. Now, it's a multiple choice answer, as you can see down below. You must have at least 2 answers, but there is an option here above. You can either make it a single choice answer or a multiple choice answer, meaning single choice, they can only pick one of your options, or multiple choice, meaning they can pick more than one. In this case, I want to leave it at single choice, and I'm going to say Android or iPhone or other. Those are the 3 choices that I'm going to give them there. And if I scroll down to the bottom, I can hit save. Now you can add more questions that are going to be tagged onto this, meaning that as soon as they answer this question, if you add another question here, they are immediately going to be presented with that second or that third question, however many you add here. But in this case, I'm just going to hit save. I'm just going to have that one poll question. So if I come down here, you can see that poll question. I can add another one. Now, the difference here between the add here versus the one that I just showed you is that it's going to be a separate poll question, right? Maybe I want to ask them another question later on in the meeting. That's why it can be helpful to add separate ones here if you don't have ones that should be answered all at the same time. So now let's jump back into our meeting. We're going to come down here and select polls. And this is a different meeting that I'm sharing at this point in time. So I've got a few different questions here. This dialog will pop up, but don't worry, no one has seen anything just yet. Remember that green color? Well, we're going to see that green color again just here. First off, I have a drop-down area here, so I can choose. I've got two different polls set up for this meeting, so I can choose which one that I want to ask. Maybe I want to ask polling question number 2. I can also edit my polling questions on the fly, right? If I want to quickly add another option or something like that. But in this case, I'm going to leave it at this. Now, again, even though I've selected that, no one is seeing anything just yet. Nothing until I hit the launch polling button. I'm going to select that. And there's that green color, right? That's telling us that now this is being shared. Now all the participants of this meeting can participate and vote on this poll. There's a timer here. Let me know how much time has passed. And it'll also show me what percentage of people have contributed to this poll. When I want to, when I'm satisfied, I can come down here and select End Polling. That green color is going to go away. So once again, they're not going to see any of these results. If I had participants in this example, we would see the results here, but everyone else will not see those results until I say so. If I come down here to the bottom, I select Share Results. Once again, there's that green indicator, that green color telling me, okay, now this is being shared with everyone. Everyone can see the results of this poll. And when I'm satisfied, I can just come down here and say Stop Share Results. I'm brought back to this menu, which again is not shared. I can pick another poll question or close this in case I want to share a poll a little later on. So something that is fantastic for making your webinars or your meetings that much more engaging here on Zoom. Next up, we want to talk about annotation. And so let's go back to sharing our screen here. I'm going to go back to this PDF document. And instead of sharing just a portion, I'm sharing my entire screen. Don't forget about the power of annotating or marking up your screen. So if I select the Annotate button here from the menu, I get a great list of things that I can do. I can draw freehand. Here I've got a little pencil if I want to highlight or circle something on the screen. And if I don't like it, I can just say undo, or I can hit clear. You can add text, you can add spotlights, you can stamp things. This stamp thing I think is one of my favorites, where I can just go over and say, okay, point your eyes up here, and then I want you to come down and read this, and then we're going to go over here and review this point and that type of thing. So lots of things that you can experiment with annotating here within Zoom. But that also brings me to my last and final tip, and that is preventing others from annotating on your screen. I've heard from many of you complain that, other people are jumping on and they're adding things, and I don't want them to add things while I'm sharing things or while I'm annotating on my shared screen. Well, all you need to do is come back up here and select this security bar. And when you are annotating, you will get another option here that is called Annotate on Shared Content. You can see it is checked at the moment, meaning that other participants right now could come in here and start writing their own text or start drawing. All I need to do is select that, and now that prevents my participants from doing so. Now, there's one other place you can go to make this change, and that is under More, and that is Allow Participants to Annotate, because remember, we just disabled it. I can select this, and now they are able to write on my screen. They can share things. So either place, it does the same thing. Either under More, you can say disable or allow, or under Security, you can check or uncheck your options there. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I would love to hear from you next. What was your favorite tip amongst all of my Zoom screen sharing tips today? Be sure to let me know down below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, being productive does not need to be difficult. In fact, it's very simple.
Okay, so guys, that was the end of what I wanted to share with you. Is there anything? Just a second, let me Okay. Right. Was it useful? So please
sir.
write in the chat box 1 if it was a waste of time, 10 if it was very good. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how was the session? Did you gain something from it? Did you get value out of it? Write in the chat box. And is there any other question now? We have 5 minutes more. I can spend another 5-10 minutes also if you have questions. Or if you want to share something which I have not covered and you from your experience know something about this, please let me know. Yeah, I saw Urmila saying something, but better put it in the figures also, like 1 to 10. Was it useful or not useful? And please turn your videos on, cameras on, so that we can see each other. I just love interaction because when you see you, oh, Nara's also there. So this becomes an international meeting. When Nara is there, he's from Malaysia. So he turns the meeting into an international meeting. Is there anyone else who's not from India? Okay, great. Yeah. So any other questions or any other sharing if you want to share something?
To tell you the truth, I haven't been using Zoom much except attending the meetings, but I am very much comfortable with Google Meet, but it doesn't have a breakout session. And so I plan to use Zoom for my future sessions.
Yeah, but Google Meet also has breakout sessions.
Is it? But I haven't used
Yeah, I have used.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't conducted a meeting on Zoom, but I did a program for a school the other day, and they were on Google Meet. So I had to log into it for the first time, and they were breakout rooms, and they were very effective also.
Okay.
Now, as good as Zoom, there was no
I
difference.
need to get back there and check
Yeah,
it
yeah.
out. Yeah. Thank you.
Nice to
Brigadier,
see
I
you,
have,
Babu. I didn't know you were there.
I have one question, Brigadier.
Yeah.
I know this was you wanted to talk about the features of Zoom. I think that was very nicely covered. Can I ask you, about the security aspect?
Yeah.
Is that something that I can ask? Because
Yeah, sure.
just before I got on this session, someone was talking to me about Zoom, and he says that his company, someone had hacked into the account through the Zoom and lost thousands of dollars and things like that. And so I don't know, what is your opinion about the security now? Previously, there was some.
Yeah, there
some
was a
issues.
security issue. I'll tell you something, and please listen to me carefully. If you were there in the beginning when I told you that if you use that feature when your waiting room is not enabled and you're using your personal phone number, that is the time you can have something happening. That somebody may come in without your realizing. Number two, we have been in PSAI doing a meeting in which a person came. There was a funny name, looked like a Chinese name. And when we said, who's this? Who are you? And he just left the room. Now that was an accidental coming, and that is the time when we realized. So please enable your waiting rooms, whether you like the feature or not. And then when you are allowing people to come in, please be mindful. And that is why I want the names there. A lot of people come into my meetings with iPhone or Galaxy 750 or some funny thing. If I don't find that name there, because I want familiar names. So like, for example, right now, we have with this Snehata. Now, Snehata has logged in with her husband's name. First time she came, I said, who's this? But because of the surname, I guessed that, okay, it is logged in from her husband's name. So if you are doing a meeting like this, so yeah, so Girish is sitting there and I know is Girish. But today it says Snehata, that they were saying Girish. Yeah. So what I mean to say is, you should be sure that if you are worried that you're, but nobody, Nara, somebody can walk into your room and listen to what you're saying, but he can't take your material away, and he can't make you lose dollars. That something beyond my understanding. But I remember that when I did a course on Zoom, this gentleman had done a lot of work on it. And he had said that they had to go and convince some HR people that, sometimes people just take a shortcut. That there is whether it's a rumor or it's a partial information, somebody said Zoom is insecure and everyone said Zoom, stop, 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 without really going into details. So we have that general mob mentality habit. So it is for you to decide whether you want to take that or not. But I feel Zoom is safe. Only thing is that, do you enable waiting rooms? I'm told now that that problem is not there, but earlier people could come into your meetings if they got to know the ID. Also, avoid, that is again my own suggestion, avoid putting a Zoom ID on open platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn, and all that, or on Zoom, sorry, on WhatsApp groups. Or they're known groups, it's okay. Yes, it's your own known group, it's fine. That means your ID is not being shown to public. Your ID is being seen or is accessible only by people whom you're okay to come on. So if you follow these 2-3 precautions, you are fine.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question?
I have one question.
Yeah,
Brigadier.
please go ahead.
While going through all this program, actually, I'm attending for this only for the first time. Normally, Snehalata attends this.
Yeah, I know.
As today she is not feeling well, she basically told me to join and tell her in detail afterwards what happened.
Okay.
So after when I was listening to all this, there was a mention where you said that the live streaming can be done only on one platform at a time.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Either on YouTube or Facebook.
Yeah.
Now, I myself and my wife, we are a member of a particular group, a meditation group, where there are more than say 5,000-10,000 members. Every day in the evening, this COVID is going on. That's why we are doing some prayer for the entire world. But we come on Zoom for that particular prayer every day. And when many times the number of participants are more, so they can participate live on Facebook as well as YouTube every day. So that streaming is there every day live on Facebook as well as YouTube at the same time. So how is it possible? That's what I was asking.
To the best of my knowledge, the feature, because I've tried it myself, I've tried it for both and didn't work. Then what people do is the person who's organizing, so I can have a co-host from a different laptop, and one can do streaming on Facebook, the other one can do streaming on that.
I see.
So there is something like that, but otherwise, I'll also check again. I may be wrong, or maybe that feature has come up now, but I know that this, as per Zoom's, this thing, they only allow one at a time.
Yeah, because this prayer we are doing since last 1 week, and it will continue for one more.
No, this I checked only about a month back. If there is something that has come up with, nobody is, because I go through all these updates and nobody's talked of this update. So worth checking up if anyone else knows. As I said, today the technology is changing so fast, its shelf life has become absolutely small.
Yeah.
And we don't know which fridge to put it into preserve, because the moment something happens, something else disrupts. I have paid 5,000 rupees to do a program on which we were told that there's a platform called OBS. You go there, you take another laptop, this, that, and the other. You go to PowerPoint, create a circle, put a green screen there, all that to make that 5.2, whatever he showed you, that your video can be there on your slide. To do that, we did a course that, of course, there are many more tricks also on that.
Right.
But all that, what that man was teaching has become now less important, because just with one addition in Zoom, all that he was teaching you, which is so much more complex and complicated, has now become simple. So things keep changing, and yeah, it's good to keep learning. And I think every day we are learning something new.
Right. Thank you.
Brigadier, I have a thing to say.
Yeah, please go ahead, Sampath. Yeah.
Even after receiving your link to join the program,
Yeah.
it asks for registration and you sent a confirmation mail and then I have to log in.
Yeah.
So that will be of more security, you know.
That is very secure. And there are two
Okay.
things that happen. One is that I come to know who all came for my program. So it also builds my database. It also means that I know now, because I may not be able to interact with each one of you, but now I have your email IDs.
So you have enabled that in the settings, right? So that it gets the
Yeah,
registration.
you have
and
to
the-
enable that in the settings where I said
Settings.
registration allowed. I told you that. Registration required, you say yes. You scroll down and you put all the requirements.
Checkpoints.
All those features are there. And then you know whether you want the email, you don't want the email. And now, what I didn't show you in the settings, I can go back and there is a setting called reports. You know, in that admin and all I showed you at the bottom, you
Yeah,
go to
the
reports, and in the reports, I'll be able to generate, I'll get a beautiful Excel sheet of all the people who attended the meeting today.
Even there is a thing called, you can export the attendance also. There is an option.
Export the?
Attendance in an Excel sheet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll get the Excel sheet. Yeah. And then I can export it and put it on my laptop.
Thank you. It's a wonderful session.
Sir, can we see streaming also?
Sorry?
Can you see one stream with YouTube also?
So now it is going on YouTube right now. So if you want, I'll send you the link. After that, you will see that this is now. So you know what? Earlier, I would record it, then upload it on Zoom and all that. And here what Mr. Girish Borkar was saying, main advantage of streaming is when you have a large audience and when you're, so 100 people will come here, for example, if my limit is 100 people. But if I've streamed it and I told my audience that the program will be streamed on YouTube, they will be able to go and see it on my channel, even when they're not being able to see it on Zoom itself. So main advantage of streaming is that. But otherwise, that also saves you the effort of now going and uploading on Zoom. Uploading on YouTube.
Yeah, to add, Mr. Borkar had a question, right? So as Brigadier said, you can use two systems, log in and then you can do it in YouTube as well as in Facebook. So you cannot do it in one, as far as I also know.
But Girish, could you check up from people who do it? If you know them, just check up how do you do two streamings? Maybe it will be educative for us.
Maybe latest also.
Yeah.
Just try to ask them, because what happens is once that 1,000 number is crossed, people cannot join Zoom. So rest of the people, they join either on YouTube or on Facebook.
No, the question is not that. Question is whether you can do both together or not.
Yeah, that is going on. Even today it will be there. Every day 9 o'clock, 9 p.m.
No. So one option I told you was that you can go on to different laptops and log on from there, and one screens on screen. I'm not even sure of that whether it's possible or not. Or maybe there is a provision which I am not aware of.
I recently saw another provision. So when there is a limited version, say like 100 people or 500 people join in Zoom, there is the web version coming up. It is like allowing me to log on the web, like Facebook, like.
Sorry?
That has also happened. Let us assume there is a meeting is only limited to 100 people.
Yeah.
So once they touch 100, I cannot join the meeting. So when it is live, it is allowing me to take up the web version, like on the browser.
Yeah.
So then from there it is, I'm able to capture that. I mean, I'm able to view the program. Instead of going for Facebook or this thing, more than 100 participants, it is allowing automatically shifting to the web version.
Shifting to the?
Web version, browser model.
I'm not aware of this.
No, I recently had a problem like that, and then I was able to connect it. It automatically prompted me. So I just clicked it on the browser and then it allowed me to get inside.
I'm not really following what the browser.
See, like what we use, Google Chrome or Mozilla is a browser, right? You type zoom.us. Usually when we do Google Meet in a mobile, it is an app. When they do it on the laptop, it is always on the browser. Browser is any Google Chrome or Internet Explorer or Mozilla. That is the browser.
Yeah.
You simply go type Google Meet / that meeting number. It will get connected. But for us, Zoom is concerned, we will have to click on the app link and then get connected. We have to give the login ID and the thing.
Okay. Got your point.
That was also a new thing I saw. I mean, as you say, it's like.
So that means your 100 people can be expanded if you go to the browser and put the meeting number.
No, but that allowed me, but I do not know how it is being done. It automatically prompted me that particular day.
Actually, Brigadier, what happens is, I know this, if you have not downloaded Zoom, and if you click the link, then the browser automatically asks you whether to join through Zoom or through browser.
Yeah, there are two options there. Yes,
that is there, but my case is I have installed it.
So if you go to the browser, that means it bypasses, that means more than 100 people can join.
I think still it goes through Zoom only. That's what I feel.
I mean, this is a little.
Yeah, this is very tricky. I don't know because that particular it said it has reached the limit actually. Then when I was driving, it prompted me for the browser.
Okay.
Even I'm not sure about that, but that day it happened like that.
Okay.
I don't think it's possible because today we had this Yogesh Jain's webinar. So there again, more than 100 registrants were not allowed to enter. It was just fortunate that he had also catered for Facebook Live, and that is where people could enter later. Otherwise, there were a lot of people in the waiting, almost 40 to 50 people in the waiting, but he had, since already 100 people had registered and entered, the further entries were not allowed.
That's exactly even I feel that even if we go through browser, possibly it goes via Zoom.
Via Zoom, or it has to be within the limit of 100 only.
Yeah. Browser itself cannot hold a meeting.
Cannot.
So it will go to browser means it gets automatically the link.
That is possible. Somebody might have left. I would have got a room.
Yeah.
Exactly. Then yes.
Yeah, then it is different.
I mean, I'm not, but actually it prompted me to go for the browser version. So when I did it, it got connected. That's what.
It'll remain a mystery. We can all try it out later. Okay, I have also put in the chat box a blog which you may like to see. Another few tips of breakout rooms and all are there. Okay, how many of you know how to save your chat?
Right there.
Okay, so I would like to, if you know it, it's fine. If you don't know that you can save a chat, which is there in the chat box by clicking on those three dots and save your chat. So sometimes you'll have these links and all. The meeting is over and you lost the link. So it is always as a habit, whenever I attend any webinar, at the end, I save the chat. Okay, so it gives you a little information readily available. But yes, don't keep storing them because then you won't know where to go. So it's good to immediately after the meeting, see whatever you need and delete it. Okay, so I have finished and I think now time is over. We are already at 5:43.
Yes.
And thank you very much for being here. Very kind of you to spend your time. I love people who love themselves because people who love themselves invest time into their self-development. Others don't. Others have other things to do on a holiday, but you invested your 90, now it is 105 minutes to keep yourselves abreast with the latest. And thank you very much for that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Pom pom, pom pom.
Pom pom, pom pom. We create some noise. Pom pom, pom pom, pom pom.
Pom 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 pom.
I know some people must be wondering what is this pom pom, but that's our way of creating energy in the room. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Pallavi has now come. I have seen Pallavi now.
No, she was there.
No, my video was off, sir. For
so you
pom-pom, I
were
came out.
keeping, for pom pom you came out. Yeah, she's a pom pom expert. Yogesh Bhatt, I have not met Yogesh Bhatt before.
Yes.
Chalo. Okay, thank you. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Rakesh, I want to talk to you after this. Okay, or you can stay back. We'll talk here. Oh, no. Oh, it's going on live also. Let me stop the streaming there. Stop.